In one of the first major battles of the turbo hybrid era back in 2016, Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton went head-to-head as Mercedes teammates for the title. Hamilton, with 3 titles at the time, was the overwhelming favourite to win another one, but little did we all know the drama that was about to unfold. The battle that we wanted to have this year in Perez and Verstappen we first got in the 2016 season, and today we will throw it back to that mesmerizing year. It's the 27th of November 2016. The glittering lights of Abu Dhabi's Yas Marina circuit are mere distractions from the fireworks currently on display on the track itself. It's the last lap of the last race of the Formula One season, and Lewis Hamilton, leading the Grand Prix for his teammate Nico Rosberg, but still trailing him in the World Championship, has tried every conceivable move, save from throwing a banana skin into the path of the German's Mercedes to force his rival into making a mistake. Something, anything, that might open the door for the charging pair of Sebastian Vettel and Max Verstappen to overtake Rosberg and potentially gift Hamilton the championship. The crowd is in raptures, and the commentators shift up a few octaves in preparation for the climax as the drivers twist through the final corners of the circuit in a perfect convoy of high-performance engineering. It's motorsport at its best, delicately pirouetting on a knife edge, victory and disaster both painfully close to fruition. And then, just like that, it's over. The checkered flag falls. Rosberg loses the battle, but he wins the war. Second place today is enough to crown him the 2016 Formula One World Champion. We did it! We did it!
We did it!
He screams into the team radio. It's been 34 years since his father, Keke Rosberg, became Formula One World Champion, and now Nico has followed in his footsteps, realizing a dream that began as a 6-year-old boy racing in go-karts and culminated in him crossing the line in Abu Dhabi. His bitter rivalry with Hamilton, the most public and vicious feud since Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost, seems inconsequential now because it was over. He had won. But this was merely just the drop in the sea that's the rivalry of Hamilton and Rosberg. Their story is so intense that at times it feels like it was ripped from the pages of a Greek play. Back in their karting days, as just a couple of young upstarts living the dream, the pair were friends. They finished first and second in the European KF1 Championship in 2000, both racing for Team MBM.com, Mercedes-Benz McLaren, with Hamilton coming out on top. Though they took separate routes into Formula One, you need only look at the first time the duo shared a podium at the 2008 Australian Grand Prix to see their early kinship remained as they sprayed champagne and basked in a moment they dreamt about as kids. Ah, the innocence of youth. The kill or be killed nature of Formula One comes for all drivers eventually, and as Hamilton joined Rosberg at Mercedes in 2013, the innocent smiles they once shared were replaced with icy glares. Hamilton had already experienced a rocky at best relationship with his former McLaren teammate Fernando Alonso, but that feels like sunshine and roses in comparison to the bad blood shared between the two young drivers gunning for World Championship glory. Things came to a head in Monaco 2014 after Rosberg controversially grabbed pole in qualifying. On his second qualifying lap in Q3, Rosberg locked his tyres and ran deep at Mirabeau corner, where he had to abort his run before reversing back onto the track to return his car to the pits. The resulting yellow flags forced Hamilton to slow, ruining his final qualifying lap and leaving the German at the front of the grid. Rosberg would go on to beat his teammate the following day, at which point Hamilton famously declared, "We are not friends, we are colleagues." It's too simplistic to point to Hamilton's many mechanical issues in 2016 as the reason for Rosberg's success. It's true that Hamilton did have an appallingly unlucky run, with mechanical problems disrupting a string of weekends early in the season, plus a failure when leading the race in Malaysia. And the array of incidents caused him to use up more new engines, putting him at the back of the Spa grid. But it was how Rosberg made use of that platform that marked his season out as special. Rosberg and Hamilton made for a fascinating personal dynamic. Friends, rivals, and sometimes teammates since their mid-teens, there was little between them, but it had always been Hamilton who aced it in any seasonal competition. Hamilton effectively navigated the challenges and uncertainties, making calculated risks work to his advantage. Despite their divergent paths leading to Formula One and subsequent reunification under the Mercedes team, key traits persisted. Notably, Rosberg wasn't overshadowed by Hamilton in raw one-lap speed. In 2013, he even outpaced Hamilton by an average of 0.1 seconds. Over the following years, Hamilton maintained a slight qualifying edge, 0.075 seconds in 2014, 0.147 seconds in 2015, and 0.152 seconds in 2016. The difference lay not only in speed, but in their approaches. Hamilton's improvisation versus Rosberg's meticulous analysis, leveraging Mercedes' engineering depth. Rosberg's method became a valuable learning experience for Hamilton, contributing to his overall prowess. However, competing with Hamilton in equal machinery extended beyond a mere qualifying time gap. Rosberg lacked Hamilton's singular, slightly narcissistic self-conviction, a trait shared by legendary champions like Senna, Mansell, and Schumacher. This absence placed Rosberg at a disadvantage within the team dynamics and on the track, where he struggled to match Hamilton's instinctual split-second combat decisions. Throughout their partnership, Rosberg grappled with this challenge, attempting to overcome the intrinsic disparities. Facing a driver who was inherently faster, more adaptable to changes, and possessing unwavering self-belief, Rosberg had to contend with Hamilton's superior skills, adept tyre management. Additionally, Hamilton's inclination for calculated risks, linked to his discernment in navigating the fine line between tough and foul, added another layer to the formidable challenge Rosberg faced. "He's so good at that," recounted Rosberg in retirement. "He could go to that grey area without ever stepping over. He always left just enough for plausible deniability, so it was very rare that you could 100% blame him. But every time, you know." Reasonable, rational, and logical, Rosberg had to force himself to a different place, and he finally succeeded in doing that in 2016. All triggered by the final straw of Austin 2015 Turn 1. There, Hamilton had edged Rosberg out over the curbs within seconds of the race starting. Despite this, he'd later managed to get himself ahead of Hamilton, but a pressure mistake allowed his rival through to clinch his third world championship. He won several races on the bounce after that, although those at the beginning of 16 were aided, as recalled, by Hamilton's mechanical dramas. But there was a steeliness to Rosberg after that, the final crucial change in his approach. Rosberg attacked his task, which was to accrue more points than the only man standing between him and the World Championship. It's easier said than done when that man is Hamilton in the same car, but the point is that for Rosberg, it was all about that task once he'd arrived at the realization that he could not do it on performance. Sure, he might occasionally ace Hamilton in qualifying by finding a better setup or a better way of bringing the tyres in without letting the brakes get too cool, or better understand the specific demands of a track on a specific day. But to actually outperform him throughout a weekend, more often than he can outperform you over a season? No, he'd arrived at the realization that wasn't going to happen. Rosberg's successor at Mercedes, Valtteri Bottas, has never accepted that and continues to hone away at his skills. Rosberg did accept it and changed his game plan accordingly. Rosberg would use every possible tool in the book. He'd engage in psychological warfare, deliberately trying to get under Lewis's skin, keep vital information back from the other side of the garage, be opaque in his assessments of setups or tyres. All the usual stuff that's been going on between teammates forever. But now it is very much part of Rosberg's repertoire too. Toto Wolff later said that despite public perceptions, Rosberg was the more vicious competitor of the two. Arriving in Spain, Rosberg was riding a wave of success. His victories in Australia, Bahrain, China, and Russia had given him a substantial point lead, setting a solid foundation for his campaign. In Barcelona, Hamilton was unaware that Rosberg, now in a no-compromise mindset, was ready to take significant risks, given his comfortable points advantage. Recalling the past, such as the incident in Austin 15, Rosberg was determined not to yield to Hamilton on the opening lap in Spain. This time, he was willing to collide with his teammate, disregarding team concerns if necessary. This marked a shift in Rosberg's approach, reminiscent of moments in Formula One history, where drivers chose to fight for their own positions despite team agreements. The early cushion of wins allowed Rosberg to maintain composure, even as Hamilton mounted a relentless performance in subsequent races. The championship turned tactical, with Hamilton's mechanical failure in Malaysia playing a crucial role. The stress culminated in the Abu Dhabi finale, where Hamilton attempted to manipulate the race, but Rosberg navigated the situation flawlessly. The overall campaign drew parallels with Niki Lauda's 1984 McLaren triumph against the faster Alain Prost. Rosberg's ability to sustain an inner competitive drive despite Hamilton's superior performance, as evident in telemetry, the management, and wheel-to-wheel battles, was truly remarkable. The prolonged intensity of competition took its toll on Rosberg, and he chose to bow out with honor at the perfect moment. Exiting the sport with the satisfaction of securing a title that Hamilton could no longer contest, Rosberg ended his career on a high note, and that will be written in the annals of F1 history forever. Thank you for watching this video, and make sure to let us know in the comments your thoughts about this rivalry and what you remember from it.